Good night, subscribers. This is HA K3D channel. Tonight we have here Nuno Corsair, our Docker Captain, Cloud Native Ambassador, and our host, Jorge Arteiro. How are you guys?
Hello, Fernando. Hello, Jorge.
And we're still with our Kubernetes series with K3D today. And we will check if K3D can run high availability.
Yeah, hello guys, hello Nuno, Fernando. Just a reminder here, if you want to follow us, youtube.com/ajuretar, and we're happy to onboard anyone on the team and record anything about technology, about cloud, about Azure. Nuno, all yours.
So only one reminder, if you like our channel, please subscribe. It supports us and keep the channel growing and us recording new videos. So it's for you now.
No problem. And yeah, join it because there's a lot of videos from local development to now cloud, AKS and Terraform, the latest one. So it was really great. So please join us. Anyway, so today, let me share my screen and we will be speaking about K3D. So the last time I just showed how to create a cluster on V1, which was like one control plane and 3 agents. But now K3D Friday just came out with the new version, which is the version 3. And if I just go quickly here, so this is the website about K3D, and the main release or main feature about this release is that it's high availability, like microcase that we did the other day. So let's see how it behaves today on K3D. And I will not make some comparisons. I will let you do that, but you will see that potentially it's a little bit faster, but because it's different, right? So K3D, remember that it's K3S in Docker. Okay, so Rancher, K3S, the lightweight Kubernetes cluster. And K3D is an initial project from Torsten. I will try 42 is its handle in Twitter. And here we can see like on K3D.io first like the different releases. You can see like last Friday, so it's really hot the release that we have. And here we have the bash scripts that allow us to install it. So I run this one already to get the version 3. Okay, so here K3D version will get us the version. So now the big difference that we have between the version 3 to the version 1 is like let's say the commands and the namings have changed. Before you will get the verb and then like create, delete, start, stop, and then the what, the none. Okay, so it will like cluster or nodes. Okay, so now it changed to have a better, let's say, better thinking when you will be creating things. So it's first the what, so cluster, and then what command do you want to apply to the cluster. I very much like it. It's, for me, let's say it's more, it's better in terms of programming and also to see like the different options growing and not have like a set of, I don't know, 20 options and then just 2 or 3 sub options. Okay, so today what we will do is like we will try to see if I do a K3D cluster, we will go through the options, but we will create now a cluster directly in a multi-server, multi-agent. Okay, so like that we will have already our HA in a sense created. Then I will add a node and then we will try the HA and see how it behaves. Okay, so let's follow along. So here, if I do a K3D cluster create, then I will drop it just the --L just for us to have a look. And okay, the font is big, so it's better to read, but on your own computer, you will see that it should be just 1 line. And there's different options that we will use, not all of them, of course. But here, at the very beginning, we will see something really nice. Is like just an explanation about what it is and what we will get by creating the initial cluster. If we just do like a K3D cluster create, we will have like these two options here, the load balancer and then the server node, okay? So for us, what we will do is like we will create some agents with it, and we will create also some servers at the same time. So we will have really the feeling about having a cluster. So here I will give it a name. So of course it will be Arteiro. Then I will give it like servers. I want 3 of them, and then agents. Oh, I also want 3 of them. And just like that, if I press enter, now it will start creating my cluster. So here you can see that it creates first the network for K3D, because remember it's a Docker network. It's creating behind just for us like his own network, so it doesn't mix with other Docker networks. And then it created the nodes. So the nodes are Docker containers, right? Then it created a load balancer. We will see what does it mean actually in terms of visuals and also how it performs. And finally, it does this one. Is like it applies the context directly for us. So that's important to know that if you add some other context for Kubernetes context, right? Not Docker context, but Kubernetes context, it will add it, okay, on parallel. So now if I do, if I do the kubectl cluster info, I have my cluster running. Okay, good. So what are the options now? So let's see. I told the cluster, right, to actually create 3 nodes of servers and 3 nodes of agents. Okay, workers, the old name. And then I didn't set the cluster to not create a load balancer, so it created the load balancer just for me. But now you can see that I have like 3 nodes here, 3 and 3, and then a load balancer, right? So if I do a K3D node now, which is the other option that I will be using, if I do a list, I won't have 6 of them, but I will have 7, right? Because I have the load balancer here. The load balancer is a bit tricky now to understand. It's a node without being a node. It's actually a Docker container, so we can see all our nodes also by doing a Docker container ls, so that's the new naming. Docker ps will work also. And then we have here the server load balancer is our Nginx load balancer, okay? That's our proxy. And as you can see here, it goes talk with the Kubernetes API port, the default API port. It means that instead of us having our kubectl commands, right, that connect to the API of the Kubernetes cluster. So instead of going directly to a server or a node, it goes first to this load balancer, okay? And then we have our 3 agents and we have our 3 servers, okay? But if I do a get nodes here, for example, with kubectl, I will also have only 6 of them. The load balancer is not really listed. The load balancer actually is already acting as a service actually. So if I get all, so if I just get all like this, K3D will install for us. So if I look here, core DNS, traffic, metric servers, okay? And then we will see here that the load balancer, okay, is being used for traffic. Okay, and traffic is rerouting our connections and our commands. Okay, so here, and we can see that the load balancer of traffic is running 6 times on each node, actually. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's like the ingress controller for your cluster. That's great.
So here, once we have that, right, now let's actually, I have Arcade already installed by Alex Ellis, but if I do a arc install, So just to have a look about what it proposed, right? So it has quite a lot of them, but one that I like very much because it will give us like a visuals, let's say, is that I will install Portainer. Okay, so that's it. It's let's say push the config to our Kubernetes cluster, and now just to ensure that we will continue working fine, I will just do the port forward here. I could do the node ports, but I'm on WSL2, so I won't enter too much here. There's another video coming one day where I will explain a bit better, but for now I will just export the port 9000. That will export it on WSL2, and that will be reachable from my own machine, okay? So if I just do like this here, so I will start here, okay? Now if I go back to my Windows machine, right, and I do a local host on port not 9000, I will have the interface for Portainer. So now I'm accessing my application, because at the end of the day it's an application, right? But I'm accessing Portainer on K3D that is running on Docker, that is running on WSL2, all right, from Windows. So here I will just give it like a silly passwords. I will say that I want to manage Kubernetes. I will click connect. I will keep it like this. And finally, I have my cluster. You can see here. And if I go to cluster, that's what I want to see here. Okay, so I see all my nodes here running. Okay, so thanks to MicroK3D, we learned that to have an HA, we might have like an extra server nodes, okay, that in case of failure of one of the primary 3 nodes, then this fourth node will come in, okay? So let's try again to do that. And why am I trying it on K3D and speaking about MicroK3D? It's because currently they share exactly the same backend, which is DQLite for the data store, okay? So it's not etcd, it's DQLite from Canonical. So K3S currently is using also DQLite, okay? So here, what we will do, again, I will have now the nodes, that's what I want. So if I just run it like that, I have the list that I did before. I can stop, start, okay? And then I can also create nodes. So let's do create one. Again, I like to drop it like a helper here and there. And it will be simple. I will give it a name, and I will attach it to a certain cluster. Here, I could set a different image from K3S. So here it tells me which K3S image it's using, okay? And I could even set some replica, okay? So instead of 1, I could say like 2 or 3 replicas, and it will add different nodes with a specific naming, okay? Plus, the most important one here, because we will get it, it's the role option. So if I take everything that it says here, so I need first the name. So I will say like, it will be the Azuretar, give me a name, like not server, but okay, captain, okay, why not? We like football here. So European football, not soccer. So then we will set it to our cluster. Okay, it was Azuretar, and we will give it like the role of server. And just doing something like this actually lets me just do a duplicate of this window. And here, let me do a kubectl get nodes, okay, over a watch. So I have my 6 nodes here. And then, okay, here I will just press enter. It will create the nodes. And now we should see our captain appearing in few seconds. Okay, here we go. And here we have our captain, currently not ready. And then if I go here, refresh the cluster, and here it says ready already, and here it says ready also. And that's it. We added a node to the cluster. Fast.
That's great. That's great.
So once we have this extra node now, That's what I wanted. Let me just show you how it behaves if we do replicas. So, okay, afterwards, you know what? Let's do it afterwards, and let me do the K3D node stop, right? And I will stop actually the primary, the first ever server control plane, right? Created by K3D. So if it works fine, like we did on MicroK3s, right? What it will do is like it will stop this one, okay? So it will disappear from the Docker nodes, for example, and then it will set it as not ready here, okay? But the cluster will remain. So we will still be able to work on it, okay? So let's do it. I stopped my K3D node. If I do a Docker node, if I do a Docker just container ls, I don't have no more. I have lb agent server. Here it's starting to happen something, but you see that my watch, it's still working, okay? If I go here and I refresh my cluster, okay, the node still didn't disappear. So the, let's say the checker, okay, the monitoring check still didn't get that the nodes of server 0 is down, okay? So let's wait just a few more minutes. If I do, K3D node list, here I have still my server 0, right? But it doesn't say if it's up and running or not, okay? Just say it's listed because I just stopped it, right? And now, normally, after 1 minute, we will start seeing something. So first of all, let's see if I still can get, look, not ready, but the cluster, look, the cluster is still answering. So if I do kubectl get all -a, I'm still working with my cluster. So I'm good to actually try to understand what happened with these nodes, okay? And either bring it back, try to bring it back, or, because remember, we are in this realm of, let's say, cattle, not pets, what I will do is potentially remove this node from the cluster and simply add a new one, okay? Just to ensure that the server has always these 3 nodes potentially up. And if now I do the refresh here, it says warning, okay, because it's down actually, but you see my applications and my cluster is still running. And that's the HA part on K3D. Cool, right?
Cool. So
That's very cool.
if you lost one node or one control plane here, there is no problem. Your cluster is still working.
Exactly, because it goes through your commands, like I said before, we don't see it here, right? But your clusters go to these K3D nodes list. It goes to the load balancer first, which is a node in itself, if you want, but not acting as a node. So if the load balancer goes down, however, then we have a problem for now, okay? I guess K3D will work on something like this, but for the time being, if one control plane server goes down, then there's no problem. We can continue working with our cluster. So, like I said, just to push it further, I'll do node delete, okay, of this node that is not ready, which is on the cluster Azuretar. Okay, no need for cluster. It was needed before. So here I deleted the node, so the node will fully disappear at some point here. Okay, so now if I do a K3D cluster lists, it will have 3 and 3 again, okay, instead of 4. And then I could like add it another node again, maybe another captain node or another server like that.
No. That's great. I have a challenge for you for the next video. I want to see 2 Docker hosts and I want to see the nodes spreading on different hosts. Ooh. Docker hosts.
Yeah. I understand. I don't think K3D will be able to do that, because if you're changing context, then it will be difficult. But yeah, why not? Maybe not for the next video, maybe for the next 2 videos, but yeah.
May you run Windows container with K3D?
So K3S right now is only running, and I can be mistaken here, but it's only running on Linux. So let's say the binaries itself for having a Kubernetes running on top of Windows are not created or not running. But yeah, like some mix, finally having a Windows node that could run a Kubernetes, let's say, cluster or kubelet on it, and then try to attach the kubelet to another cluster that is already running. But I guess it will be more like, maybe MicroK3s will be the good one. But yeah, K3D for now, it's really like K3S, and K3S is not running on Windows, as far as I know. But on the comments, if anyone knows, please feel free to correct me.
In the comments and on Twitter, send message to us on Twitter. Active the alerts to get our new videos. And we will record a video about kind. I think this will be the last local Kubernetes type we have to explore here on the channel.
Minikube also then.
And Minikube, yes. The last 2. Oh, thank you very much, Nuno.
No problem. A pleasure always. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.